Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. The NSA opens its doors for a rare look inside the government agency where leaker Edward Snowden once worked. The NSA has been under intense pressure since Snowden went public with that top secret data that revealed some of the agency's tactics. And NSA Director General Keith Alexander tried to clear up some of the information that has been put out there about your phone and internet usage.
The fact is, we're not collecting everybody's email. We're not collecting everybody's phone things. We're not listening to that. Our job is foreign intelligence, and we're very good at that.
But General Alexander did confirm that the NSA is collecting the so-called metadata tied to the phones of 3 million Americans. And that is the information that includes what numbers are dialed, what time calls are made, and what frequency those calls are being placed. The NSA says that has allowed them to develop targets for more advanced electronic surveillance in places like Somalia. And reports of a bomb at Harvard University halted exams for a brief time today. According to school officials, 4 buildings on its Cambridge campus were evacuated this morning, but the school later tweeted that there were no explosions or injuries on its campus. One student says she was about to take a final when the fire alarm sounded, and while some might brush off the bomb scare during finals tactic, not in Boston.
Here it's a lot more serious, and especially because the Boston bombings happened so recently, I think we're taking extra precautions.
3 of the buildings being evacuated border Harvard Yard in Cambridge. Harvard officials say that both school and city police are investigating the incident, and the university will provide more information as it becomes available. And Colorado's governor is asking for prayers for a 17-year-old girl who was shot in the head at her school last Friday. Claire Davis is in critical condition at a Denver hospital. Police say the shooter, 18-year-old senior Carl Pearson, had gone to the Arapahoe High School to settle a grudge with a teacher. Pearson killed himself as a school security officer closed in on him. Governor Hickenlooper credits the Sheriff's Department with active shooter protocol and saving lives. And today the Senate begins addressing a 2-year bipartisan budget deal crafted by Representative Paul Ryan and Senator Patty Murray. The agreement faces some opposition from Republicans in the Senate, but architect Paul Ryan is telling his GOP counterparts that the compromise is of good core conservative values. Ryan says conservative members of the Senate should focus on the fact that the budget includes no tax increases, deficit reduction, and permanent spending cuts. The Senate will have to reach a 60-vote threshold to move forward with the plan. And coming up next on your Newsmax Now update, a U.S. military helicopter is forced to make an emergency landing in Japan. Coming up, an update on the crew's condition after the crash, plus a Newsmax exclusive with Rich Lowry, the editor of the National Review, his take on what's really behind President Obama's pivot to income inequality. Next. And welcome back. 2 people were injured after a U.S. Navy helicopter made an emergency landing south of Tokyo on Monday afternoon and turned over on its side. The helicopter crash landed in an area known as Kanagawa. According to emergency crews, a mechanical problem caused the crash, not human error. 4 crew members were on board. 2 of the crew members had to be taken to the hospital with injuries, but everyone is expected to recover. And Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review, tells Newsmax TV in an exclusive interview that President Obama doesn't like it when Americans are too rich. In a speech this month, Obama said income inequality is the defining challenge of our time.
He, of course, wouldn't ever say that explicitly, but basically having a lot of rich people offends his sense of aesthetics and his sense of justice.
And that's going to do it for this edition of your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman reporting from New York. Now here's the Steve Malzberg Show live.